NBC4 News at 11 a.m. starts with breaking news.
Right now at 11, we are entering hour 9 of a standoff at a 7-Eleven in Long Beach. A man is holed up inside and refusing to come out. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us. I'm Annabelle Sedano. We first brought you this as breaking news on Today in LA. We want to take you outside and give you a live look from that 7-Eleven on West Broadway and Pine Avenue. Police and SWAT crews are surrounding the store. Police do believe he's armed.
Long Beach Police Department. I'm speaking to the suspect inside of the 7-Eleven. We know you're inside. Come out with your hands up.
It began overnight. Just after 2 this morning, police say the man robbed the 7-Eleven. 2 employees who were inside ran out of the store and flagged down police. The man has refused to come out since then. And as you can see, this is having an impact around the area. Right now, Broadway from Pacific Avenue to Long Beach Boulevard are closed, along with Pine Avenue from 1st Street to 3rd Street. We're going to continue to follow the situation on our NBCLA app and our website, NBCLA.com. New this morning, crews are cleaning up another homeless encampment. This one is in South LA. News Chopper 4 was over 87th and Manchester along the 110 freeway about 90 minutes ago. The encampment stretches for several blocks there. You can see people who were staying there being led away from the area. City layoffs averted. We have a major update on a story we've been following for you for months. More than 1,600 city workers who were at risk of getting laid off are now safe. NBC4's Brittany Hope just got out of a press conference with Mayor Karen Bass. Brittany, we went from a major deficit to now this. I'm just curious, what changed here?
Yes, so Annabelle, this all has to do with the city's budget for the fiscal year 2025 to 2026. And there was that $1 billion deficit that the city had to figure out. That meant that jobs were on the line and city services were going to be impacted. Well, now we just learned that's no longer the case.
Building inspectors, truck operators, mechanics, engineers, city planners, street lighting electricians, crime and intelligence officers, zoo animal keepers, and so many more roles that are responsible for the delivery of vital services to Angelenos.
So the mayor says that the city got creative. So some of those employees at risk of being laid off transferred to other departments like ports, airports, and DWP. But for other employees who now get to keep their job, their PTO and also their overtime could be impacted by this. That's kind of one of those resolutions. Here's the city administrative officer to explain how that works.
There were 614 employees that were subject to layoff. We worked with the Police Protective League that represents sworn officers who were not subject to layoff. They made an agreement that would achieve over the course of the year overtime savings that would be used to cover the employees at the Los Angeles Police Department. As a way to ensure the savings, the civilian employees agreed to up to 5 unpaid days off.
So all of that took heavy negotiating between the city and between labor unions, not just the police union, but a bunch of different unions that represent city workers. You know, a big point of the press conference today was the World Cup. It's going to be here in less than 12 months. And they said a lot of those jobs that were on the risk were critical to be here to make city function ahead of those games. So it was really a priority to get those back.
Major relief there. Brittany Hope, thank you so much for being out there for us. Meantime, a new troubling trend has the LAPD doubling down on its commitment to the immigrant community. New data shows calls to the LAPD dropped dramatically after immigration raids began in LA this summer. NBC4's John Cadiz-Climax sat down exclusively with LAPD Chief Jim McDonald about what he's doing to rebuild confidence in law enforcement.
Following the protests and ICE raids over the summer, the chief of the LAPD says that trust is something he's still trying to foster, especially within the Latino and immigrant communities of Los Angeles. But he says in an exclusive interview with us this morning that there's still a lot of work to do.
That's always a work in progress, but I believe that people, when they need help, know that they'll get it when they call the LAPD.
LAPD Chief Jim McDonald today doubling down on assuring the public his department doesn't play into politics and federal immigration crackdowns, even as calls to 911 appear to have dipped during the 2-week period of unrest and ICE raids across the city.
But what it appears right now is that they're changing out who's on this skirmish line.
It was also a time when the department was on tactical alert, meaning they could only respond to more serious crimes while still logging others. Not an issue, the chief says, of lack of trust by the immigrant community.
For those that were concerned about the chilling effect it might have had, at the end of June, when the TAC alert was over, we saw the call load go back up to normal.
Perhaps even more than normal. NBC4 Investigates looked at the number of police responses from April and through the summer and saw LAPD responded to more cases of domestic violence in June and July than in April and May. The chief reiterating his promise to all of the city.
We're here for everybody. No matter what community we're talking about, whatever your status is, if you need help, the LAPD will respond. And we do not involve ourselves in civil immigration enforcement.
The chief says the only way to really make law enforcement work within the city is to make sure that people feel comfortable calling 911 if you're a victim of a crime or if you witness a crime. He says by doing that, it helps secure safety for the whole city. Reporting outside LAPD headquarters, I'm John Kiley-Sklimak, NBC4 News.
All eyes will be on Jimmy Kimmel tonight. He's set to make his return to late-night TV. And within the past hour, Kimmel breaking his silence, posting on social media for the first time since his suspension. He posted this photo with the late TV pioneer Norman Lear. The caption saying, quote, "Missing this guy today." This is a live picture from outside the El Capitan Theater on Hollywood Boulevard. It's been about 1 week since Kimmel was pulled off the air for comments he made in his monologue about the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. He'll return to air tonight, but not everywhere. Disney announced yesterday it was bringing back Jimmy Kimmel Live, but today Nexstar Media Group said that the ABC stations it owns and partners with will not resume airing the program. In a news release, Nexstar said in part that it stands by its original decision to suspend the show. That decision adds to Sinclair, another major local TV operator, which said yesterday that it would not air Kimmel's show on its stations. Last night, CBS Late Show host Stephen Colbert celebrated Kimmel's return.
I just couldn't. This is wonderful news for my dear friend Jimmy and his amazing staff. They continue the show. So Disney put Kimmel back on because you, the American people, were upset. Okay.
Nexstar and Sinclair account for about 70 ABC affiliates. That means Kimmel's return will not be available over broadcast to tens of millions of households in the U.S. New this morning, President Donald Trump delivered a wide-ranging address at the UN General Assembly. On immigration, he claimed the UN was effectively funding an assault on Western countries by providing money to certain migrants.
On our southern border, we have successfully repelled a colossal invasion. And for the last 4 months, and that's 4 months in a row, the number of illegal aliens admitted and entering our country has been 0.
President Trump also expressed frustration that the war in Ukraine was still ongoing and threatened to hit Russia with new tariffs if Vladimir Putin doesn't negotiate.
Everyone thought Russia would win this war in 3 days, but it didn't work out that way. It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good.
On climate change, Mr. Trump called it, quote, a con job, saying that UN predictions have been wrong, although scientific organizations studying the issue say the rate of warming has been increasing this century.
You can't hide. We charge you with ecocide. And Trump.
And you hear them there. A protest outside the UN General Assembly led to several arrests. A group of environmental demonstrators was taken into custody after blocking traffic. They held signs and chanted anti-Trump slogans. Police say those arrested will face disorderly conduct charges. $500 million in federal grant funding is set to be restored at UCLA after a federal judge ruled the federal government likely violated the Administrative Procedure Act. That requires specific procedures and explanations for funding cuts. Back in August, the administration suspended $584 million to the university. It was over allegations of civil rights violations in connection to anti-Semitism and affirmative action. The judge said the government did not provide sufficient details at the time. $81 million has already been restored. The White House has not commented on the ruling. Coming up next year at 11, the LAPD swarmed the home of